Hey, how's it going, guys? It's your boy Kingdom Soldier, and finally we are back with another STiKS 1v1. I know it has been a long-awaited return, but I have an awesome guest today that has been lingering in the chat of the STiKS, probably in about 70 to 80% of our shows that we broadcast. And today we actually brought him on, and we're going to do the 1v1. How the 1v1 works, for those of you that have never seen it before, you haven't been a part of it, is basically it's a half an hour show, and I got a whole bunch of questions from Twitter that I'm going to rattle off after I ask our guest a couple of questions myself. Bigsnackks, you want to introduce yourself, kind of say your affiliations in the community, what you do?
Yeah. For those who don't know, I'm Bigsnackks. I am owner of Team Justice and some sort of a YouTube dude. I make videos every blue moon when I feel like it, something like that.
So this is a question that I had that I actually never thought about, and I've never asked you, but where did your name come from? Where did the name Big Snacks come from? Like, how did you
Uh,
get that? How did you get
oh,
that
that
name?
that story. Well, you don't give yourself a name. You have a
Yeah,
nickname. It shouldn't be a nickname that you made up and given to yourself.
yeah.
Nickname has to be given to you by family and friends. And I used to work for Kellogg a long time ago, and Kellogg does the Pop Tarts and the cereal.
Yeah.
Well, I delivered the cookies and the crackers and stuff like that. I delivered all the Cheez-Its and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
I used to have a bunch of snacks in my house: crackers, cookies, neutral grain bars.
Uh-huh.
My house was sort of like a store, and my brothers just come over to the house and they grab stuff and they take stuff home, and I make my deliveries when people wanted stuff.
Uh-huh.
All that stuff was free to us. And and my brother and them started calling me Snacks instead of by my name, and it stuck. It's been there for what, 12, 15 years now. And to this day they still call me Snacks. No one calls me by my name.
Really? What about like in your family? Like no one calls you by your name. Everybody calls you Snacks.
Well, my mom and dad do, but my brothers and sisters, no, all of them call me Snacks.
Wow. Now, where did the big part come from? You just threw that in there.
Yeah, you just can't be Snacks. You have to add something to it. Especially when I made the gamer tag.
Uh huh.
When I made the gamer tag, that's where the big came in. I made the gamer tag. Snacks was already taken,
And you had to throw an extra K in there.
so I had to throw an extra K in there. I
Oh,
added a big Snacks was already taken too, so I added an extra K, and boom.
that is an interesting story. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but people just started calling you Snacks. Now, were you able to give them some of those snacks, or did you
Yeah,
have to? Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
yeah, yeah. Well, when I was working for Kellogg, everything we had, all that stuff was free to us. Because I delivered the stuff. I
Wow.
delivered to Walmart and Publix and health food
Oh, I
stores
see
and
what you're
stuff like
saying.
that. So
Okay.
I drove a truck. So
Oh,
it
okay.
was,
You just had mad snacks then.
yeah. I told you I had somewhat like a whole store in my house, dude. I had snacks for days. Whatever you wanted that Kellogg made, I actually had in this house.
Wow. All right. So, next question I have for you is kind of what got you into. I mean, you just told us you were driving a truck for Kellogg's. Like, how did you transition to where now you are in esports ownership and management? Like, what got you into it?
Well, I got into YouTube first. I was a YouTuber. I made videos and did stuff like that. And then
Hmm.
we started the Yoush community.
Hmm.
And from there, I got to meet a lot of people. And what got me into esports was actually Jeff from UMG. Jeff wanted to host a competition. He wanted to do a land event. He did it at Game Pazzo, and he wanted to broadcast it. So I actually broadcasted the first UMG event out of my own pocket, my own money. I flew
Wow,
my own people out. I paid for their gas and hotel and all that. I did that out of my own pocket.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I actually broadcasted the first UMG event. on the Yaush Network on Twitch. And I think Optic won that event.
Yes, they did. Chicago?
Yep.
Yeah. I did not know that you had that big of a hand in that. I know that I've heard a lot of rumors about back in those days. I know because Golden Boy was around helping out at that time, wasn't he?
Golden Boy casted that whole event by himself. Golden Boy is a legend.
He is a legend.
Casted that whole event by himself. 3 days of casting, about 12 to 13 hours a day by himself.
So
what? Done.
So what? So it sounds like you got in because almost like you were in the YouTube scene and you got to know some pro players and you got involved in the pro scene. You helped, run that first UMG. And then at some point you made the transition into, I want to actually own an esports organization. I want to buy a team. I want a brand and those type of things. And your brand specifically, I mean, I'd probably cry it from the rooftops way too much, but the ups and downs that you've experienced as an owner is uncanny. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I guess my question for you is, how have you and I know you have I don't want to, is there such a thing as good stubbornness? I guess that's what you call it. Like your determination and drive is really strong. You're not going to let anybody push you out of a position. And how have you maintained to keep fighting your way back into the pro scene and make sure that justice always comes back and has a squad, even though you seem to get these good teams and then they're taken away. You get these good teams and then they're taken away. Players move on, they rotate, roster changes, but you never bow out. Like we've seen teams like Carnage, Noble, even TR. We've seen teams come in and then they kind of just fade away. We don't even remember their names anymore. But Justice Pro seems to always come back. Like, what is it that has driven you to maintain and to stick around so long?
Well, that's just kind of me as a person. Period. I don't quit. I've never given up on anything, and just because we have a few bad situations and things don't go my way, or things don't go the way you want them to go, that don't mean you give up. It doesn't mean you quit.
Agreed.
We've had some bad situations. We've had some good teams, and we've had some absolutely horrendous teams. But I like esports. I like gaming. And this is something that I want to do long term, and I want to continue to do all I can to help the scene grow. But I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. I'm not just going to say, okay, we're not a popular team. We're not one of the biggest teams out. So I'm just going to throw in the towel and go away. I'm not that guy to fold up that easily. And plus, I'm determined to make my brand a success. With the grace of God and enough prayer and doing what we do and working hard every day, it'll happen. It just takes a little time. I'm a patient guy. I'm not that guy that says it's not working for me, so let's just throw it up, let's close shop, go away.
No, and that's I guess that's what I've seen from you. You've always maintained, and you're one of those owners that's just like, oh, I'm gonna be around. I mean, there isn't going to be a time where it's like, oh, what happened to Snacks? Where'd he go? You seem to be very determined to stick around. So on that note, as you look at Justice Pro, I know you've branched into other esports in the past. Like, what are the future plans for Justice Pro? Like as far as Call of Duty goes, but then also as an esports organization, like what are your future plans that you have?
We're going into other titles. Got some things sitting on the back burner now. We got some announcements for other stuff that's coming up after E3. And as far as the COD team goes, we're gonna build a new team. I'm not giving up on Call of Duty, and we're not out of Call of Duty. We're gonna take a team to Dallas, but I don't know if I want to take an AM team or try to put together a team pro. I think I'm just going to take some amateur guys and give them a shot and see what they can do.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to build. I want to build a team. I don't want I don't want to put together a team and then 3 weeks down the road it's over with, it's done with.
Yeah.
Kids are mad at each other. It's wasting money, and
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. So I want to put together something that's going to be sustainable and last for a while. It's just hard to get it through these kids' heads what it takes to
Yeah.
build something and make something successful. These kids are looking for that one shot, that one opportunity to give them their shine,
Yeah.
but they don't understand that only a few people are going to get that shot. The rest
Yeah.
of us have to work for it. You have to put the time in, you have to put the work in. You just got to do it. Everybody wants that. Make that one play, it turns you into a superstar overnight. But after you make that play, what are you going to do to carry that for the next year and a half to 2 years to
Yeah.
keep your status to where it's at? I don't understand it, dude. These kids are weird.
Well, I agree. There are some that seem to be a little more humble with how they approach things.
Oh, shit, telephone.
And I would put like Hook in that category. He just seems to. I interviewed him on here, and I mean, I know he's young, and that's part of it, but I think that's the right people have to get a hold of some of these younger players when they're still young. Because if they find themselves with the wrong teammates and with the wrong pro players because of how good they are, they could get stuff put in their head, and they wind up
Mm-hmm.
walking through the community saying, "It's all about me. It's all about my potential. You should, these teams are going to chase me. They're going to want me, and I'm not going to stay anywhere long enough. I have one end goal. It's to wear a green jersey, and I will bounce around to as many teams as possible to get there." It's
Oh
like,
my God! Don't get me started on that. Please don't. If that, I want to touch on that topic real quick
okay.
because if your end goal is to wear a green jersey, something is completely wrong with you. And I saw a pro player tweet that out the
Yeah.
other day that every pro player's dream is to end up on Optic. Why is that your dream? Why is being on? I understand Optic is a great franchise. It's the biggest franchise we have in Call of Duty esports. Everybody loves that team. I understand that, but if that's your only goal,
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
in esports, you are truly, truly mistaken on the reason why you're here.
Yeah.
Your goal should be. People think that people look at Nadeshot and Scump and think they just became stars overnight. They don't know the back end of what Nadeshot did or what he's been through to get to where he is. They don't know how good Scumpy has been throughout his whole career. He didn't just become this good in this game or Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
Scumpy has been good his whole freaking career.
Yeah.
He's maintained his level of greatness throughout playing Call of Duty, not just one game, not just last season. He has been consistent in doing what he's done. Those guys have turned themselves, not Optic, they've turned themselves into brands.
Yeah. That's a good
Nadeshot
point.
is a brand within himself. He
Yeah.
doesn't need Optic. Nadeshot can go off and make hundreds of thousands of dollars and will be just fine doing YouTube videos, making commercials. Y'all think Nadeshot retired just because he was tired of playing Call of Duty? No, he got smart and realized that it's time for him to go do other things and make moves in his career because Call of Duty is ending for him. He's just moving to LA to go do YouTube and probably do commercials, try to do some acting,
Yeah.
movies. There's no telling what that guy is going to do. But these kids just want to play the game and wear the jersey. They don't want to make YouTube videos. They don't want. They don't want to stream. Only thing they want is Twitter followers. Oh my god! Only
Well,
thing they want is freaking Twitter followers.
Well, the
Wow.
amazing thing is that there's only right, even though they have two teams, there's four players on Optic Gaming, um, and there's four players on Optic Nation. If every single player is trying to get on the same team, it's not gonna happen. And so people need to be ready and willing to build their personal brand and their success outside of Optic. And that's kind of, when I think about Krim, um, he built a brand for himself that,
Mm-hmm.
of course, was advanced and, multiplied when he got onto Optic Gaming. But he built a brand for himself on complexity and on EG, where he was consistently doing YouTube, he was streaming, and he was active on Twitter. And so I think there are players out there that they're not going to wait to get on Optic Gaming in order to chase after that. It is unfortunate though, the number of players that I can name that didn't have content before Optic, got on Optic, started making content, and then since they left Optic, their content has dwindled drastically.
Undo.
Yeah. And it's as if because they're not on Optic anymore and the views have lowered on their videos, they don't make them,
Kids
and
are retarded.
yeah, even a guy like Parasite, if he would have kept making content since Black Ops 2 and never stopped and kept doing daily videos and things like that, he would have a huge YouTube channel right now.
Parasite, Play, Attach, all these guys, they should have just stayed
Yep,
consistent
active.
at doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
No matter your fan base, of course your fan base is gonna grow when you join Optic, right?
Yeah, of course.
And it's gonna decrease when you leave Optic. But if you stay consistent, if you drop a video, these guys stream often enough to where they can take what they do from their stream, chop it up, and make a video out of it. You don't have to constantly sit down and record commentaries and do all that. Take what you already have, what you're already doing. It's there.
Yeah.
Just take what you already have and multiply it and put it up. It takes a little time. Yeah, you might have to stay up a little extra 2 hours, but you're really not doing nothing anyway. You're going to sleep till 4:30, 5 o'clock the next day. So you might as well take that little extra time that you have, while you're playing on Twitter, talking about I'm laying in the bed, what's to watch? You should be, I'm fixing to edit this video. What do you guys want to see from my stream yesterday? You know, or take what you already have, what you've done, and just post it. You don't even have to edit it. Take it, put an intro and an outro on it, post it up. These kids will watch what they watched yesterday over again today.
That's very
They
true.
watched your stream and they'll still turn around and watch that same gameplay on
Yeah.
YouTube.
That's true.
I try to educate these guys on doing that. Every person I've had on my team, I beat the same thing in their head. Start making videos. Start streaming. This is what's going to grow you as a brand. Don't worry about me. After you leave here, you're going to have you. Your next brand might not give a crap what you do, but as long as you stream and constantly putting yourself out there, your fans are going to follow you wherever you go.
Yeah.
And these kids don't understand that, though, man. It's like beating a dead horse. And God, it infuriates me.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to hit Bigsnackks with all of the questions from Twitter before we get out of here. You guys can throw in some questions, throw them at me on Twitter. I may not get to them, but if we get through the ones we have really quickly, then I may be able to answer some extra ones. So we'll see you guys in a moment on the other side of this commercial break.
I don't want their, I know those guys are a complete team.
Yeah.
And I've talked to their father at what was that? Cali.
Cali, yeah.
I talked to those guys at Cali, and those guys are humbling. That is actually the first group of kids that I met that were actually humbled to be somewhere, and were actually happy that they were playing and were doing really well. And after talking to those guys, it was like, okay, what do I do with the spot? And I know that question is in there somewhere, so I'll let you get to it sooner or later. But no, I didn't try to take them.
Okay. And I know that there was all kinds of just craziness. Did you already have the chance to at least clear up? I know there's some that you can't say, but did you already have the chance on Twitter at least to clear up kind of your decision and how this was your decision and it wasn't, your spot wasn't taken away from you and given to E6?
No, I held that just for this day. And actually, your timing, we talked about doing this show on Monday. And your timing was impeccable with everything that transpired yesterday. So you actually got the perfect time.
Oh. Go ahead.
What I did, so just to clear all this up,
yep.
as everybody knows, my team completely cleared out. Last minute, day of lock, I wake up, I got a text, hey, blase, blase, this is what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna stay. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
same same stuff I'm used to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, been here, done this. And I was like, so I called my wife, what I done. Called my wife and said, hey, what do you think I should do this season? Should I just go ahead and pick up another team and continuously do what I do? He said, well, let's think about it. I'm gonna pray.
Mm-hmm.
You go pray,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll let God answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
So, me and Chris talked during the day. After I went and said my prayer and
Mm-hmm.
did what I did. Me and Chris, I talked to Chris. We were looking for some players, trying to find some players. Me, I talked to Joey.
Chris Blevins?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I talked to Mert
Yeah.
about staying and what he wanted to do, and he was going to go with XGN.
Mm-hmm.
He had a couple of different scenarios, and at the end of the day, that's what happened. He went
Yeah.
to XGN, so I contacted MLG and told him, say, hey, I'm not going to be able to turn in a roster right now. Can I get a small extension, maybe 24 hours or something like that, and let me figure out what I'm going to do? Because I just woke up. I woke up at noon,
Yeah.
and I had like 5 hours, and
Yeah.
there was no way. So I prayed again that night, and I went to bed. I knew what I was going to do when I woke up that morning. It was either because I had DMs lined up. You
Yeah.
know, kids had blown my stuff was blown up out of proportion. And I contacted one player
Uh-huh.
yesterday morning. I contacted Simple because he was the only person that got affected real bad. I contacted him and
Real
I asked him.
bad.
I said, hey, if you want, I give you a shot. Even though we fell off and we ended kind of bad when you were on the team, I'm not mad at you, but I'll take this opportunity and give you a shot. You can pick you 4 3 players and do what you want to do. He said, "Nah, I think about it. I gotta maybe have another opportunity. I'll let you know." And
Yeah.
then I just that at that moment, God said, just give it to E6.
Mm.
And I knew what I was going to do at that point. So I contacted the guys. I tried to see if they wanted to do a quick merger
Yeah.
and just go Justice Enigma through this season because I
Mm.
know they're going to make the season. And they didn't want to do that. They wanted to. If they had to go online and play online, they were going to do that.
Oh, okay.
So I said, nah. I waited till right before 5 o'clock. I waited to send the email in. I sent it in because I know people were scrambling. I like a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
drama.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like a little drama. So I sent the email in at 4:55. I sent that email in
Uh-huh.
and told them I didn't have a roster. This is the roster I'm sitting in.
Yeah.
And then I sent another email right behind it to change that from Justice to Enigma 6.
Yeah.
And they're going to take my spot. And Adam sent me an email saying, "Oh man, I'm sorry you didn't get a team, you know, but you got a team, but you're changing your team." I'm like, "Yeah, let them have that spot,
Uh-huh.
and I'll just wait till next season. I'll come back, put a team in the season, and we'll go from there." But yeah, I knew what I was gonna do yesterday when I woke up.
Mm-hmm. And you,
E6, they deserve that spot, man. Can't nobody tell me they don't deserve it.
yeah, that's been a big debate this morning. I think Pittsburgh was talking about it on Twitter, but that's been a big debate today. Just people debating if E6 is a top team. And one of the things Chris was saying from UMG is he was saying that you can't really call someone a top team until they prove it at multiple lands, multiple major lands. I'll say that, but that team definitely the way they've outplayed teams that have seen some success in the past, and the way they did at Cali. I mean, I got to see them play at Cali. That's a great squad.
The team is
I
amazing.
Yeah, and I'm the 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 big thing that it was funny because me and Goldie talked about this because on Monday on the Sticks we talked about the fact that uh, we want to see a team like E6 stick around for longer than the
3 months.
time it takes for them to be, basically farmed out to other squads.
Right.
And them having a spot in this league is going to hopefully keep that roster together, at least maybe till the 250K tournament that's at the end of this year, and then we'll see for Black Ops 3 kind of the direction that things take.
Out of all the rosters in Call of Duty,
Mm-hmm.
I have more faith in that roster sticking together simply for one because they're friends.
Yeah.
All of them live in the same area, just about. So there's no reason for them to break up. They have a good support system there.
Yeah.
Jordan's father is really good for those boys because he gives them the opportunity to do what they want to do and do what they like to do. They have no reason to try to break up and go to other organizations. And that's what pissed me off with TR. Those guys, kids don't understand. Once you build chemistry with one team
Yeah.
and you become great as a unit, it usually never works on other teams.
That's true. Those players have fallen off. Those TR players, like they're, yeah,
Yeah,
they
because they were
don't
good
look as good on
together.
other squads. Yeah.
On other squads, they don't look as good because they played in halfway unorthodox style of playing, which worked for them because they were the only team that's doing it. But when you try to go play with other players that only used to play in one meta of the game, and that's the only way they're going to play, and
Yeah.
you're not playing the way they playing, then it throws the whole team off. Then the team is trash,
Yeah.
and that's what usually happens. That's what I tell players on my team. If you go back and look at the list of players that have been on Justice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that got attitudes and left the team and thought they were great players, tell me where they are right now. You were good when you were here, but when you left, not so good anymore.
Yeah, that is a challenge of the players today. Let me move on with these questions because I got like 5 more. All right, so this next one is from Crush Sniper, one of our Sticks fan members,
Oh,
and he
Crush.
says, "What is your opinion on how roster changes should be handled in the COD community?"
There, there is there is no way roster changes should be handled until we have a one formatted way to do roster changes. We're always going to have the same problem till MLG or Activision steps in and
Mm-hmm.
puts their foot down. We're going to continuously have the same problem. MLG is trying to handle it in some kind of way, but with this free agent period, it gives teams time enough to scramble. But then kids say, why don't you contract your players? Yeah, you can contract your players, but you're going to contract them for a season, and then after the season is over with, we're still going to be in the same thing.
Yeah.
So there's until ML2 the seasons are longer, and MLG can find a way to step in and say we're gonna acknowledge player contracts, and but see then you got to have unions, and then you got to have it's so much stuff that comes into play to organize this stuff, man. We just got to get there some kind of way.
Agreed. All right, next question comes from Heist X. I don't even know how to say his at. You guys can read it. Heist Sebastian, and he says, "What has been the lowest moment in your career?"
Oh, the lowest moment in my career, probably. Well, I wouldn't say it was the lowest. It was probably the most frustrating moment when Keemstar was attacking Yaush for being a sub network, and guess what Keemstar is doing now? It has a sub network, but
Mm-hmm.
that's that's probably one of the one of the worst moments I've ever had.
Okay. Next question comes from Optic_Crimshot, and he asks, "What Justice team, past or present, best suits Justice for you? Like in your opinion, what roster best suits Justice Pro?"
Gypsy, Gucci, Hoodie, Chino,
That was a good roster.
hands down.
Yeah, that was and like the way that you guys work together and seeing you stand behind them and scream and and seeing Study and Tipsy their chemistry like and the chemistry that Chino had and that Gucci. I mean, those players, that was a good squad. I wish that team Tipsy never found any success really after he left that team. And I really wish Studies found a little bit, but I really wish that cuz placing second at champs is pretty good
But that's
success. But
but that's it.
yeah, that's it. But I really wish that team would have stuck together. Gucci and Chino are kind of like bouncing around from really low tier teams, and you haven't heard much from them. But yeah, that was a good squad. That was
Chino
definitely
is
a good squad.
consistent. Chino's gonna be a monster. Only problem with Chino was he's not 8.
He's not what,
He's
18?
not 18.
Yeah, that's
Chino's gonna be a monster for a long time. I
yeah.
told him he's coming back home sooner or later. Rise Bomber, I know you watching. Taking my son back, son. Coming back home.
All right, next question comes from Shadow ZEXE, up in smoke, and he asks, "Do you think we'll see a boost in the scene's popularity with Black Ops 3?"
Hard to tell. Hard to tell when it comes to switching titles.
Yeah,
Because one, everybody's gonna love it for a week. They're gonna hate it for a week, and then after Christmas, they're gonna love it all again. Then when the new DLC drops, they're gonna hate it. But the scene itself, the scene is growing constantly every year. The scene is getting bigger and bigger. From where we started, from when I got in here a couple of years ago to now, the scene has grown astronomically, and I only think it's going to get better.
yeah,
And the more the league develops and the more the league expands, the scene is going to grow. So,
yeah, yeah. I think that I all of us can, like you said, MLG needs to step in and do this and do that. The growth though is ridiculous. I think we forget, if we go back a year and a half, 2 years, there was no there was no main streaming platform. I don't even think 2 years ago there was an MLG COD YouTube channel that put out like VODs and things like that of actual events and tournaments. I mean, that YouTube channel grew really fast. We didn't have the production quality and level that we have now. We didn't. Lands were totally different. I mean, things have changed so much. There
we
was
went
no
from playing in game puzzles to playing in convention
yes.
centers.
Well, and now they have their own stadium, basically.
Stadium, yeah.
So yeah, things have changed a lot. There's been a lot of growth in it. I
Needs to be
agree with you.
more, but
Yeah, and there will be. There will be. I think as long as people kind of, like you said, as long as people like yourself and other owners kind of stick around, there will be
yeah.
changes.
And if MLG and Activision get together and put some of their more of their own money into this,
Yeah.
that's gonna stem the growth. If they just say, here you go and do somebody needs to grow some balls. Let me just put it out there, because y'all know me, I don't care. Somebody needs to grow some balls and throw the money in the pot, a la League of Legends style. That's what
Yeah.
League of Legends did. They took their product from MLG and said, okay, y'all are doing good, but this is how you do it. And they threw millions of dollars into that pot, and now all the thing they do over there is print money. CSGO is going to be next. They're growing, but once they start to throw money back into their own product, it's going to take off. Nobody wants to waste their money on their own stuff. It's going to grow. But
I agree.
just my thought.
I agree. All right. Second to last question. It's from It's Just Adrian. And he says the best and this is a weird question. The best and worst aspects of the COD community from an owner's perspective?
Best is probably winning. Worst is reading my Twitter feed from time to time. Some of you guys really make me cringe. You know, I don't know why our community is probably one of the worst abusers of Twitter in all of the esports scene. Our community is Twitter fanatics. We love Twitter.
Love it.
We use Twitter for everything from promotions to sending hate mail to teaching everything. It's ridiculous. Twitter can infuriate me sometimes. And I know I piss people off on Twitter. I piss a lot of people off. But I say my opinion, and I don't do it to make people mad. It's just my opinion on what I think should happen. And some people take that as me being angry and me fussing about stuff. No, that's just me saying what some of y'all think y'all want to say, or some of y'all want to say and don't have the balls to say it.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
I agree. Twitter is, there's transactions made on Twitter.
Yeah.
And there, some of them aren't even legal, like players leaving to another team,
exactly.
and then going back because they couldn't leave in the first place. Like,
team trades happen on Twitter. Y'all,
yeah. And well, at least we're in a point now where at least it's changed a little bit to where team trades are slower. Because about a year ago, like when my channel blew up back in January of 2014, about around that time from December, like once JCap and all that and Merc and all those changes happened,
we were making videos every 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, there was team changes happening on Twitter, and I think that's where Twitter became almost a problem, because now you have people with TweetDeck open all day, and there was a time where I would keep it open for like an hour or two while I was doing other stuff and literally just be watching so that I didn't miss anything, because it's almost like the scrolling,
it never stops.
TweetDeck has become its own entertainment, its own show that you watch, and
it is.
Twitter has
mine is open constantly. I don't think I ever close.
Yeah, it is a TweetDeck, and Twitter in general have become.
For those of you don't know what TweetDeck is, it's a very useful platform. I watch it.
Get it.
And I know you're talking about me even though you don't at me. That's why TweetDeck is useful. I can see my name.
Yep.
For those who don't know, I see you talking about me. So just at me if you have a question. I'm a good guy. I'll answer for you.
All right, last question is from Captain Spanky.
Oh my God.
Captain Spanky YT, so he must be a YouTuber. He asked the question. Oh, we already answered this question. So that's all of our questions. I do want to ask, because I see them going crazy about this in the chat. What is your opinion about the potential switch to PS4? Good idea, bad idea? Do you think it's actually a rumor, or is the community just making too much about it?
It's probably a rumor. Xbox spends way too much money in this crap. For those who aren't old esports fans, that's the platform we used to play on. Back in the day, back in the day, before Xbox decided, hey, we need to get into this game. Everybody played on PlayStation. I don't think the Switch would do much. Basically, because all it is changing controllers, and Scuff makes a PS4, so I think players are adjust pretty well. And most players have both platforms anyway. They don't tell you. Most players have both platforms already. Most of the popular players and the players that make a little money, they already have PlayStation 4s.
Yeah.
Because a lot of their friends play on PlayStations, just like I do. Y'all see me stream on Xbox, but I have a PlayStation because most of my friends that are in the military and overseas, that's all they have. So I play on those accounts to play with those guys. So most of us play on PS4 already, so I don't think the transition will be that bad. But for you younger cats that don't have no money, that have to buy the whole system, then it might be a problem.
Well, yeah, you think about, like, if they move GBs and all that kind of stuff over to and UMGs over to place. Now, do they have a version on?
They have them already.
But if they moved competition like LANs to Xbox or to PlayStation, would it probably just switch? Like there would be more GB ladders and things like that that were focused from PlayStation and less from Xbox. Like it would just kind of
Yeah,
switch
yeah, it just sweet. And they already have ladders and stuff for
for PlayStation.
PS4 already. They're just not talked about as much, and they probably get more playtime than the Xbox because a lot of people have PlayStations to play this game.
Yeah, I just the amount of you think about the amount of Xboxes and things that have to be purchased for LAN events and all of the settings and everything, and then all of the controllers, like you said, that Scuff would have to send like two of every controller to all the pro players that they sponsor. Um, I'd probably make them send me one, even though I don't have a PlayStation. um, but yeah, that would and all the other controller companies that sponsor people, Cinch and people like that. You know, it's like that would be a big change in my opinion. All right,
Yeah.
well, Snacks, thank you very much. I have learned a lot. Thank you for the knowledge bombs. I honestly had no idea that you had any role in the beginning of UMG's lands. So that was good news to hear, and I appreciate all the insight that you've given us into what it means to be an owner and kind of the way things happen behind the scenes. Of course, good luck in your future. I still one day hopefully will be wearing a Justice Pro jersey. Maybe when I go to my next LAN.
Hey,
Uh, I'll let you know when that's gonna be. But if you want, give me 30 seconds or less to kind of say whatever you want to whoever you want, kind of final thoughts, final word, and then I will sign off.
okay. First of all, thanks to you guys for having me on. Goalie, the voice in our ears. We love you. You know, for all of you younger players and aspiring pro players, let's take a moment to calm those egos down. What's killing this scene more than anything is ego. Pro players now have the biggest egos because they have Twitter followers. And my question to those pro players, can those Twitter followers make you money? That's what you need to think about. How can you turn your Twitter followers into cash? Are they active enough? Will they do what you ask them to do? You know, if you want to be a pro player, you want 100,000 followers. You want that to happen for you. Those are the things you want to aspire to be. Then take your resources and make money from them. Make your resources turn into cash. But saying that, y'all might not understand it, but in 2 years you will. I appreciate you for having me on, Kingdom.
Oh yeah, of
Oli, I
course.
love you.
All right, this is your boy Kingdom Soldier and Snacks and Goalie. This will be up on the STiKSLive YouTube channel, which you can link to and subscribe to right below this screen here. Make sure to use code STiKS for 10% off G Fuel or 5% off of your Scuff Gaming products. And we will see you guys either tomorrow or Monday on the STiKSLive. Peace.